Today we're going to start off with a short devotional program.
Although sounds are but vibrations in the air which affect the ear's auditory nerve, and these vibrations are but chance phenomena carried along through the air, even so, see how they move the heart. A wondrous melody is wings for the spirit, and maketh the soul to tremble for joy. Bahá'u'llah.
Music is an important means to the education and development of humanity, but the only true way is through the teachings of God. Music is like this glass, which is perfectly pure and polished. It is precisely like this pure chalice before us, and the teachings of God, the utterances of God, are like the water. When the glass or chalice is absolutely pure and clear, and the water is perfectly fresh and limpid, then it will confer life. Wherefore, the teachings of God, whether they be in the form of anthems or communes or prayers, when they are melodiously sung, are most impressive. Bahá'u'llah.
Today we are so excited to have Red Grammar with us, and he'll be presenting a musical exploration of Baha'i themes. Red Grammar is one of the premier entertainers of children and families in the world. Described by Parents Magazine as the best voice in children's music, Red has set the gold standard for writing songs that playfully reconnect each one of us with the best in ourselves. His recordings have won him numerous Parents' Choice Awards, a Grammy nomination, and a USA Today Kid Pick. He has been featured on the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, The Today Show, CBS This Morning, CCTV in China, and appears at performing arts centers and educational settings all across North America and around the globe. And with that, I'll turn it over to Red.
Good morning. How's everybody? You can just wave at me and let me know. I'll look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Gosh, a couple of things from those wonderful quotes that you read to start it off. In the first prayer, it said, all bestowals emanate from thee. You know, everything that we do that is worthy emanates from the divine. And then all those great quotes about music. I'm going to share a look at the Baha'i Faith through the music that I and my late wife Kathy and I and some other people, you know, have written that try to reflect some of the richness that's in this wonderful faith, the Baha'i Faith. I'll leave it to others to give you a wonderful explanation of the amazing history of the Baha'i Faith. It is astonishing, and it is full of heroism and sacrifice and triumph and crisis, all these different things. It just keeps moving forward to realize the founder of the Baha'i Faith, Baha'u'llah's vision for humanity. Baha'u'llah means the glory of God. And like I said, I'll let somebody else handle the history. But just to give you a little bit of context, Baha'u'llah founded the faith, and he had a forerunner, the Bab, which means the gate. They both were from Persia, what's now called Iran, and Baha'u'llah said that God sends messengers throughout history, and each one of those reaffirms the basic spiritual teachings, and each one also brings something new. And what he said he brought, or his message that he was given to bring to the world of humanity, was that this is the time for the coming together of the family of humanity. And so the center of the Baha'i Faith is unity. And how do we do that in a world that's so diverse? And where do we find the strength and the focus and the assistance from on high to actually bring about unity? Anyway, so that's kind of where I've been coming from. I became a Baha'i in 19. I was in college, a young musician. When I heard those quotes about music, it was like, one of them which says, we have made music a ladder for the soul. It says, make it not a plaything of the ignorant, which is a whole interesting thing just about the power of music and what it can do. Anyway, so I have striven throughout my whole career to write songs that playfully, oftentimes, reflect this idea of the coming together of the human race. It's the time in which we live. It is the task of humanity in this time. And it isn't always easy, but we might as well have some fun in our process of it. And it is fun and it is magnificent. So first we're going to start off. I need you to snap your fingers. And every time you hear me say, these are places in the world, you go like this. Ch, ch. Let's try it. These are places in the world. Ch, ch. Okay? Now every time you hear me name a place in this long list of places from around the world, a place that you've been to, raise your hand, okay? I've got you on my screen so I can see you. Go ahead and raise your hand when it happens, okay? Let's try it. These are places in the world. Shh, shh. Some you know, some you don't. Some you'll visit, and some you won't. Some are near, and some are far. Some sound exotic like Zanzibar, because these are places in the world. Shh, shh. Bombay, Cape May, Mandalay, Baffin Bay, Baghdad, Leningrad, Ashgabat, Trinidad, LA, Norway, Paraguay, Monterey, Singapore, Ecuador, Bangalore, Baltimore. These are places in the world. Fiji, Sicily, Nagasaki, Tennessee, Cairo, Quito, Borneo, Idaho, Taiwan, Dijon, Saigon, Tehran, Guatemala, Oklahoma, Argentina, North Dakota. These are places in the world. Some are new and some are old. Some are hot and some are low and some are wet and some are, because these are places in the world. Glasgow, Oslo, Fresno, Tsingtao, Falkland, Auckland, Yucatan, Disneyland or Disney World. Libya, Namibia, Romania, Pennsylvania, Bora Bora, Walla Walla, Costa Rica, Bratislava. These are places in the world. Krakow, Chengchao, Moscow, Tokelau, Dominique, Pikes Peak, Mozambique, Bitter Creek, Warsaw, Moose Jaw, Saskatoon, Cameroon, Haifa, Mecca, Bethlehem, Jerusalem. These are places in the world. High on a mountain, down on the plain, deep in the jungle, in the middle of the rain. Children laugh and children play, everywhere, every day, because these are places in the world. Yay. Yay. All over the world there are people, and you know, it's so easy to forget, isn't it? That there are people in these other parts of the world that are just like us, have hearts and souls, have children that they're trying to raise, have dreams they're trying to accomplish, trying to develop the gifts they were given. All of us were given all these gifts to get out. And yet we have different languages and different music and different foods. It's magnificent. Let me do this one. I'm just going to do a couple to start off, and then I'll read some quotes to go with them, because that's where it all comes from. Add it together, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, we've got a whole lot, we're rich. Okay, so when I sing, add it together, what do you got? You guys go, 1, 2, 3. Got it? And then I'll sing, we've got a whole lot. And then everybody goes, we're rich. Like that. All right, let's try it. Add it together, what do you got? 1, 2, 3. We've got a whole lot, we're rich. Now these citizens have come and gone, but what they've left lives on and on. From Asia Minor, from Mexico, Papua New Guinea to Ohio. Add it together, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, we've got a whole lot, we're rich. Think about dance. We got hip-hop. We got the Highland Fling. We got hula and calypso. We got the Western swing. We got hoop dance, line dance, fancy dance jig. They tell me in Madrid the flamenco is big. We're rich. Think about games. We got hopscotch. We got chess and parcheesi. We got double Dutch jump rope. Now that doesn't look easy. We got baseballs, bocce balls, rugby, lacrosse, and in the game of polo, there's a ball and a horse. We're rich. We've got songs that move us, machines that think, drums that talk, and lights that blink. We got cosmonauts out rear canoes, Arabic numerals and southern blues. Add it together, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, we've got a whole lot. We're rich. It's been done before, we'll do it again. That's where we come in, my friend. It's in our hearts and in our minds to add a gift to what we find. Take it all together, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, we've got a whole lot. We're rich. One more time, a little louder. We're rich. One more time, a little louder. We're rich. Last time, loudest. We're rich. I have to read you something really magnificent from the Baha'i world community. They put out statements from time to time, and this one is from the statement called The Prosperity of Humankind. These statements are incredible, and it really talks about what is human prosperity. And of course, it is about meeting people's material needs, but it's also much more than that. And this is just a great quote from it. It says, with the physical unification of the planet in this century, an acknowledgement of the interdependence of all who live on it, the history of humanity as one people is now beginning. The long, slow civilizing of human character has been a sporadic development, uneven and admittedly inequitable in the material advantages it has conferred. Nevertheless, endowed with the wealth of all the genetic and cultural diversity that has evolved through past ages, the Earth's inhabitants are now challenged to draw on their collective inheritance, to take up consciously and systematically the responsibility for the design of their future. This is the quote that inspired that last song. All of the genetic and cultural diversity that has evolved through past ages. The Earth's inhabitants are now challenged to draw on their collective inheritance. You know, we think about, when somebody in our family dies and we get an inheritance of some kind, we get a letter in the mail that says, maybe a check, it says you received this, somebody left you this money, right? It's always great, isn't it? Sometimes it's really unexpected. This one, we don't even realize that we hold this check. It's already been deposited into our spiritual account. We have a collective inheritance. And part of what blinds us to the fact that we have this collective inheritance is that we view ourselves, we view the different areas of the world as separate from ourselves, different cultures as separate from ourselves. So we don't realize. We're getting better at it. I mean, there's a whole realm of music called world music. And people all over the world are accessing the sounds and incorporating it into their music. This is our collective inheritance. Language is our collective inheritance. Science is our collective inheritance. And perhaps most importantly, the spiritual inheritance that we've got. I mean, how many of my friends who were born and grew up and have families that have been in the United States for a long time, when they read Rumi, their eyes just, they just go into a reverie. And they didn't know about it. They didn't realize that that was part of their collective inheritance. Or they read passages from the Bhagavad Gita, and they realize that people, a couple thousand, thousands of years ago, were dealing with the same issues spiritually that we are today. Or reading Buddhist writings, or reading passages from the Quran. This is all our collective inheritance. And one of the things that Baha'u'llah has come to do is to open our minds and our hearts and our spirits and our communities and our institutions to this idea that we are an incredible flower garden. This is from Abdul Baha, Baha'u'llah's son. Differences in manners, in customs, in habits, in thoughts, opinions, in temperaments, is the cause of the adornment of the world of mankind. This is praiseworthy. Likewise, this difference and this variation, like the difference and variation of the parts and members of the human body, are the cause of the appearance of beauty and perfection. As these different parts and members are under the control of the dominant spirit, and the spirit permeates all the organs and members and rules all the arteries and veins, this difference and this variation strengthen love and harmony, and this multiplicity is the greatest aid to unity. So it's a whole it's a whole world view. And what Baha'u'llah is encouraging us to do is to view the world as something to embrace, something to welcome, something to get to know the different peoples, to be open to individuals. It's an openness of heart. And it isn't without awareness, but Abdul Baha, his son, said, and I don't have the quote right here, but he said, in the past, religions viewed the world as being split into two parts, those of the good tree and those of the evil tree. He said, and today we know there's only one tree. We're not separated like this. Some parts of the tree need to be educated. Some parts of the tree need to be healed. And all parts of the tree, if we're talking about cultures, all parts of the tree bring wonderful things and also need healing. But it's this acceptance. To be honest, when I was growing up and I was getting interested in truly owning faith, I was raised a Christian, a Methodist. And I just knew in my heart that I wasn't going to commit fully to something unless there was a place for everyone on the planet in it. And so I remember asking my 5th grade Sunday school teacher, what about the Muslims? I didn't know anything about Muslims. I just knew there was another religion, and she got a little uncomfortable and she said, well, since they don't know about Christ, which of course is totally wrong, he's revered in the Quran, but since they don't know about Christ, they'll probably be forgiven, something like that, So it wasn't really an embracing kind of thing, and it was out of ignorance. She didn't know. And I began looking at different faiths, and they all were wonderful. But it wasn't until I found the Baha'i faith where there was this acceptance of all the people in the world. Not only an acceptance, but appreciation for what each person, what each culture is bringing to the mix. I guess I'll do this one. And then I want to talk about 2 parts of being a Baha'i, or what the Baha'i faith offers. One is this collective vision for the world, and the other is this individual journey that we go on, because it has both. Sometimes I think we hear about the Baha'i faith and it's all about the oneness of humanity, the equality of men and women, elimination of extremes of wealth and poverty, and all these social principles, and it's easy to forget or not even know that there is this body of individual, rich support that you get from the writings of Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha and the Bab. But let me finish where I was going with that. So there's this idea. Baha'u'llah wrote to the kings and rulers of his time, the queens and kings, and he wrote a letter to Queen Victoria over a century ago. This is again from the Prosperity of Humankind, that statement from the Baha'i International Community. Baha'u'llah compared the world to the human body. There is indeed no other model in phenomenal existence to which we can reasonably look. Human society is composed not of a mass of merely, human society is composed not of a mass of merely differentiated cells, but of associations of individuals, each one of whom is endowed with intelligence and will. That's us. Nevertheless, the modes of operation that characterize man's biological nature illustrate fundamental principles of existence. Chief among this is that of unity in diversity, which is one of the real watchwords of the Baha'i community. Paradoxically, it is precisely the wholeness and complexity of the order constituting the human body and the perfect integration into it of the body's cells that permit the full realization of the distinctive capacities inherent in each of these component elements. No cell lives apart from the body, whether in contributing to its functioning or in deriving its share from the well-being of the whole. The physical well-being thus achieved finds its purpose in making possible the expression of human consciousness. That is to say, the purpose of biological development transcends the mere existence of the body and its parts. So, what a miracle of nature our body is. So many gifts in one place working all together. Nerves and knuckles, liver, lungs, and kidneys. Everything we need in one place working all together. So when I see the different members of the human race, I think what a waste. We're not working more together. Just like nerves and knuckles, liver, lungs, and kidneys. It all makes sense to me. Anatomically, some folks' fingers, some folks' toes, nodules and kneecap, Nellies and nose, we're all in this together. Brian's a blood cell, Jenny's a gene, someone's a whisker, someone's a spleen, we're all in this together. Inside your body, see what's going on, there's a million pieces getting along, separately they're a pile of parts, but all hooked up, the magic starts, it's a miracle of harmony. So how about you, and how about me, we're all in this together. Someone's an eyeball, someone's a ear, someone's a whisker, someone's an ear, we're all in this together. L is an eyeball, test, and we're all in this together. Charlene, Cameron, Nikolai, Peg, Hetty, Mina, Vitali, and Craig, Kurt, Elizabeth, Maggie, and Chip, Octavio, Darius, Jasmine, and Skip. There's a couple of billion yous of me with ears to hear and eyes to see. We're all in this together. Sip dip, sip dip, sip dip 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 bow. Sip dip 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 now. Zip dip, zip dip, zip dip 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 bow. Zip dip 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 bow. If you won't listen to me, then listen to your heart. Something's getting ready to start. Take a look around. It's just about time to power us up. Bring it online. It's a miracle of harmony. The body of humanity. We're all in this together. We're all in this. Zip dip, zip dip dip bow. Oh, yay. So there's this huge call to showing up for the unity of the human family, which is the primary task of society at this point in human development and evolution. There is also, and always has been, as an important role in religion in our lives, is for our personal spiritual development and journey and growth. And the great thing about the Baha'i Faith is it marries both of these two pieces. And so over the years, I've set all kinds of writings to music for this purpose because they move me. I'm going to do one. It wasn't even on my list to do, but I've just thought of it. This is from Baha'u'llah. It's in the Gleanings. And I know I have the pages for all the other ones because I thought I was going to do them, but I don't have it for this one. But you can find it. If it be thy pleasure, make me to grow as a tender herb in the meadows of thy grace, that the gentle winds of thy will may stir me up and bend me into conformity with thy pleasure, in such wise that my movement and my stillness may be wholly directed by thee. I just want to do what God has in mind for me, because I know that's the highest use. But sometimes we get a little confused about what that is, right? It's hard. We've got all these different gifts that we were given. Which one are we supposed to really give all of our juice to at this point in our life? You know, all these questions. So that's where we go in prayer and we ask for help. And in these times, goodness, it's pretty crazy, the changes going on in our world. I'm doing okay most of the time, but sometimes it overwhelms me. Is that happening to you? Yeah. So this is one of the prayers I use. It's from Abdul-Baha. Oh God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my powers. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. Thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I will be a happy and joyful being. Oh God, I will no longer be full of anxiety, nor will I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. Oh God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself. I dedicate myself. I dedicate myself. I dedicate myself to thee, O Lord. What we know is if we don't have spiritual peace and coherence, it doesn't matter how much we have materially. America is a perfect example of that. We have so much. You know, we live in homes that would be the envy of kings and queens of past ages. Perfect climate control, water in any temperature you'd like, refrigerators that can give you nice, cool drinks, you know, all these things. Light, how much light do you want? Is that too much light? Let me turn it down. You know, we have every possible need. People are trying to help us, and we have many have the means to, have those things. We can travel in vehicles, and everything. Now what we see, we're coming to a great reckoning, because our spiritual wealth has not accumulated in our hearts and in our knowledge and our wisdom to the same level that our material has. There's this great prayer that Abdu'l-Baha revealed for America, and he says, let America aspire in spiritual degrees to the same level that it has for its material degrees. And we are. You see it. You see people struggling for this. And so this faith just has so much richness for this individual nurturance and support. I just have just all these songs, all these pieces that reflect both the reassurance and the challenges that are presented as any faith should. It should reassure us and it should challenge us to higher development. This is a song that grew out of a quote from Abdu'l-Baha. Abdu'l-Baha gave us so much, the son of Baha'u'llah, gave us so many beautiful things. He said, to live the life, what is to live the life? To walk in this material plane with your heart leading the way, right? Your spirit leading the way. He says, to live the life is to look always at the good and not the bad. If a man has 10 good qualities and one bad one, to look at the 10 and forget the one. And if a man has 10 bad qualities and one good one, to look at the one and forget the 10. It doesn't mean that you don't know. It's just you don't dwell on it. It isn't the important part. And Baha'u'llah says, know thou that every created thing is a sign of the revelation of God. Each, according to its capacity, is and will ever remain a token of the Almighty. See me beautiful, look for the best in me. It's what I really am, and all I want to be. It may take some time, it may be hard to find, but see me beautiful. See me beautiful each and every day. Could you take a chance? Could you find a way to see me shining through in everything I do, and see me beautiful? Make my heart overflow with love, overflow with love, overflow with love. Make my heart overflow with love for thy creatures, and grant that I may become the sign, become the sign, become the sign. Grant that I may become the sign of thy mercy. And forgetful of self, forgetful of self, forgetful of self, forgetful of self, but ever mindful of what is thine. Make my heart overflow with love, overflow with love, overflow with love. Make my heart overflow with love for thy creatures. Oh my gosh. It's work, though. You have to keep showing up. And one of the things that Baha'u'llah charges us to do is to assess how we're doing. Reflect each day. How are we doing? And then, it's exhausting sometimes to keep growing, isn't it? It's tiring. But why do we keep coming back? Because it's what we're here to do. It's what our heart is calling us to. This growth is the whole purpose of this plane that we're on right now. Acquiring virtues. I'm digging for diamonds, looking for gold, tunneling round down deep in my soul, 'cause everything that I might be is laying down there just waiting for me. There's ruby reds and lapis blue, topaz, turquoise, emeralds too. I never know what I might find. Whatever it is, I know that it's mine. Whoa, digging for diamonds. Whoa, prospecting for gold. I know I'm gonna find them waiting for me down deep in my soul. It's hot down there, but I can take the heat. The pressure on the coal makes the diamonds sweet. It gets dark, but that's alright, 'cause I'm gonna carry me a great big light. I'm pouring down sweat, swinging my axe, putting in the hours, and them's the facts. But every gem I get to shine, my Lord, it feels so fine. Whoa, digging for diamonds. Whoa, prospect. find them waiting for me down deep in my soul. Mama's got gold and daddy too. Brother and sister, I know they do. I got, he got, you got, she got, everybody got gold, and that's the truth. Whoa, digging for diamonds, whoa, prospecting for gold. I know I'm gonna find them waiting for me down deep in my soul. Whoa, digging for diamonds, whoa, prospecting for gold. I know I'm gonna find them waiting for me down deep in my soul. Digging for diamonds, looking for gold. Woo! Yay. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, there are these two parts. Now, I do want to just add, of course, a religion that talks about the unity of mankind should reflect that. And the beauty about the Baha'i Faith is it is made up of people from every country in the world. It is the most amazingly diverse collection of souls all around the world. There are Baha'is everywhere, and they are all striving for the same thing. And the way we are currently working in our communities is to build community through a number of different activities. So wherever you are, there's likely a Baha'i community there. And if not right in your little town, nearby. Somewhere near you there is a Baha'i community, and they are doing devotional gatherings. Like this is actually a fireside kind of thing, or a discussion, but right now, many of them are on Zoom like this. We have one every Thursday night, we invite people to, and communities all over the world are doing this, and we come together to say prayers, to refresh, to remind ourselves of who we truly are, and to recharge. So we have these devotional gatherings, that's one. Two is we have classes for children, for spiritual education, that are about acquiring virtues and understanding that all the religions of the world are from the same source, that we are one people. This is the core of the educational process for educating children. And then we have awesome junior youth programs. It's called the Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Program for kids from like 11 or 12 to 14 in there. They have a great program for kids and helping them step into their power, because it's kind of a funny time. They're still children, they're becoming adults, and it's a great program to help empower them to step in to who they really are, and to protect their hearts from all these negative forces that are in the world, so that they can stand in the light strong. So that's awesome. And then we have study circles, which youth and adults study together, a host of different ways to build capacities for us to be strong contributors to our communities. So Baha'i communities are doing this all over the world, everywhere. In fact, United States always thinks we're at the forefront of things. In community development, there are other countries that are just taking the lead and showing us how it can be done. It's beautiful. So let me see, how are we doing? Let me do one more song, and then maybe we can go to Q&A. How's that sound? Yeah. So I think I'll just do this. This is Baha'u'llah revealed all different kinds of writings. short little things that are so powerful, like the one I'm going to sing right now. They're called The Hidden Words. Beautiful, short, powerful. You could just read that one book over and over again for your whole life. That would be an incredible educational approach. But then he wrote books like the Kitab-i-Igan that explain how religions work together, you know. Gleanings, which is a beautiful collection of writings. There's mystical writings like the Four Valleys, Seven Valleys, and Four Valleys. There's all different kinds of writings. But this one I'm going to do is the very first hidden word that he revealed. And it kind of like sets the whole foundation for everything. So when my two sons were born, each of them were born, in the delivery room, as soon as they gave me David, my first one, first time I did, I was a little shy about it, you know. So I sort of took him over to the car and I said, "O Son of Spirit, my first counsel is this: possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart, that thine may be a sovereignty ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. Baha'u'llah." If any of you have met my son David, you know that he's living up to that. It's beautiful. And I did the same thing with Andy, except the second time I wasn't quite so shy about it. I sang it out a little more in the room, and Andy is also living up to that beautifully. I'm so proud of both of my sons. So the thing about the Baha'i Faith, it is beyond one's ability to even conceive of it after, how many years have I been in Baha'i? Coming up on 50 years in a couple of years, 48 years or whatever. It's still beyond my ability to fully comprehend. And every year I go, oh, that. There's so much to it. So to try and give you a sense of what it is in, 40 minutes or whatever is really hard. But, hopefully it was enjoyable. But I'm sure if people may have questions, and I'm happy to do my best to try and give a perspective on an answer.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. As people have been writing in the chat, like, this brought back really good memories for a lot of us. I mean, I grew up with your music, my siblings did, and a lot of people did too. So this brought back a lot of good memories, and really inspiring how music truly does impact the soul. I mean, I feel a visible change in myself, and I know other people do too. So if anyone has any questions, you can either raise your hand using the raise hand function, which you can find by clicking participants, and then it's a blue button, or you can write your question in the chat and I will read it out loud. Okay, we have Toby first, so go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. Listening to this music and words it just touched the heart. Like, from the quotation of Abdul Baha that says, the art of music is divine and effective. It is the food of the soul and spirit. Through the power and the charm of music, the spirit of man is uplifted. So, just a second. Okay, just a second.
Hi.
So you have, through these words you have used and the music, you have, uplifted our spirit.
Thank you.
So it's amazing. It's really amazing. Thank you so much. It's not a question. I don't have a question. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a real delight and honor to be able to share these things with you. As we said at the beginning, that prayer said, every bestowal is thine. We hopefully, what we strive to do is become channels for I've been blessed with, I mean, really, these, Baha'u'llah says the holy souls in the next world are the ones that help us write these songs and do these works and inspire us to things. So I can't wait to meet them. Who are these people, right? Thank you, Toby.
Okay, next we have Veronica.
Hello from Northern Ireland.
Ah.
I had a question. We have somehow understood that, you know, like it says in the Bible, the word first was God, then was the word, and we've been given the gift of the word. And added with the ladder of the soul, we have the power to use this. And within music, and it has its own thing. You know, we see it in pop music, where we have amazing sounds, frequency, and waves with words which are not divinely guided to take it in the best form. And I also think that by speaking to the children about virtues, we're here in Northern Ireland, talking about God and religion becomes, I think everyone is aware of the history of it. It becomes quite a taboo. It's very hard for us to teach or to do anything. And music is the most amazing way to be able to come through to children. We've got a group called Beyond Skin here, who's a charity, and they work through that, but they haven't really understood like the power of the virtues. You know, like I've got my grandchildren and their mother is not Baha'i, but they sing, I think you're wonderful. And, you know, I can see that shining within their souls, within their eyes, or when I look at them sing, or all the other songs that you have, which many of us listen. But is there a way, as well as a Baha'i community that we are, to actually teach humanity to go whatever way of voicing? Baha'u'llah also says in his writings, what is in your intention is in your mind. What's in your mind is in your reality. And to help children heal. And I think it's one of the most, I mean, please Red, one day, please come to Northern Ireland if you can.
I'd love to.
But could you please add to what you understand with the frequency of words and music?
You know, Abdul Baha says, if you want to accomplish something, you know, with a group, have music played beforehand, you know, to open their hearts to it. He actually says that. And in writing many of these songs, we really tried to do that, to try to create songs that would, every heart would be able to find a way into. It's not have any barriers put up. Just to open, to create a circle that we can all stand in. So I think music is a really powerful way to do that, for sure. I'm not sure I fully understand the question. Yeah. Could you, oops. Yes.
I was trying to unmute myself and video myself. The question is there any way that through, more than a question, could be, it's a statement really, it's to actually bring people to the sense of responsibility of the words that we use. You know, and it has such a power, you know yourself, it can either grow, or the other side of it is it's even worse than a weapon, that it can take so many years.
Yes, yes.
So
yeah.
the question is, you are lucky to be in media. I don't have a question, it's a statement. I'm confusing myself.
It's all right. It's okay. Well, you know, I have a song called Use a Word, you probably know it, you know, which is a children's song about being aware of the power of the words that we use and choosing good ones. I think, you know, just the virtues, the education around the virtues is such a powerful thing when we use these words that we don't often use, you know. Well, I don't know if some of you may not know this song. You know, a lot of people know Teaching Peace, maybe they know Hello World or Down the Door with Me, but my album, Bebop Your Best, is all virtue songs. And this is the last one on the album. And when children sing this song, it's a really powerful experience for the adults to hear them singing it too. Anyway, it goes like this. Truthfulness, sincerity, patience, perseverance, courtesy, integrity, compassion, and endurance, fortitude, trustworthiness, excellence, I give my best. Sharing, caring, kindness, respect, and moderation, courage, enthusiasm, determination, justice, joy, discipline, light up this world we're in. Walking through my life, I found that my very best friend is the one inside of me. There's a small voice in my heart when I stop and listen. It's there guiding me, guiding me. Friendliness, openness, cooperation, gratitude, willingness, consideration, honor, wisdom, loyalty, they feel so good to me. Modesty, tenacity, acceptance, and forgiveness, hope, responsibility, humility, and fairness, these are what I'm thinking of. With them I've got enough. Walking through my life, I found that my very best friend is the one inside of me. There's a small voice in my heart when I stop and listen. It's there guiding me, guiding me, like that. You know, just having the kids learn those words, you know, is a powerful thing. And the track on that kicks, so it's fun for them to learn. And there is no easy answer to this. It's about opening hearts, and it's about being present individually and being present as a community, collectively with the society. Both of these things happening. And humanity needs to go through whatever it goes through to the point where enough hearts are open to where what the latest messenger of God has brought is something that people are really open to and listen to. And that isn't to say that people aren't trying. You know, all around the world, people are coming from wherever they're coming from, and they're coming with their filters on, trying to figure out how to make the world a better place. And what God has given us is this way to just, you know, open up the veils so we can see, oh, we're surrounded by all these brothers and sisters who are all trying to do the same thing, you know, and help us find ways in. Yeah.
Great, thanks. Next question is from Mariam and Shay. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, Red. Thank you so much for making this space available. I just wanted to share two comments. One is, so I was raised in South Africa. I live in South Africa. So hello from South Africa. Yeah. I just wanted to say that, you know, music in Africa is such an inherent part of like the soul and the culture of African people. You know, in South Africa, when we're happy, we dance. When we're angry, we dance. Like, we dance to everything. And so, yeah, yeah, I just wanted to share that. And then also just thank you for your beautiful songs. You know, I've got a little toddler, and the only way that he will, you know, sit in the car is by listening to music. And I often notice that there isn't a lot of children's music out there with like positive messages. And so I'm just really grateful for just your music. So that's all I really wanted to share. So thank you so much.
Thank you, so sweet. Thank you. Just to piggyback on to what you said about South Africa, I was in the Gambia in Northwest Africa about 10 years ago. And that last song that I sang, Truthfulness, Sincerity, that one with all the virtues. So in the Gambia, they do speak English, although their first languages are various tribal languages like Mandinka and stuff. So the reason I was there, because a woman, a Baha'i, and this couple, she's from the Gambia. She got educated in the United States, went back, and was doing summer programs for girls to keep them in school, for junior high and high school girls, because they often leave school. And anyway, so she had me come and do music, and they learned the words to that overnight. It's a, you know, it's an oral culture originally, so they learn these things really quickly. And we were rehearsing it because we were going to do it in a program for the community. And we sang that every time we would get to the end of the song. I didn't finish the song, but, you know, we get to the end, they would just start singing again. They would pick it up at the chorus. We sang that song for 45 minutes without stopping. That's Africa. I mean, oh my gosh. And we were inside when we started, and about 20 minutes in, we all ran outside. We were so full of energy, and we sang it for another 25 minutes outside. It was like crazy. So there's a whole other thing about music in Africa for sure.
Next question is from Alex.
Hello from Omaha, Nebraska to Red and to everyone.
Nice to see you, Alex.
So I've been wondering since during this pandemic and during the, you know, after the George Floyd protests started, I've been wondering, since a lot of people have been increasingly recognizing humanity's interdependence, as well as the different kinds of injustices that are going on in the world today. I'm wondering if you've felt that this is a particularly inspiring time in terms of your songwriting. If there have been any songs that you've written during these last few months that have been inspired from you know, these themes of interdependence and justice and racial amity and things like that.
Really interesting question. It has been one of the most creative periods of my life, for sure, in two ways, both in terms of writing songs and also in terms of creating vehicles for those songs. Because, you know, it's so funny, you know, when I grew up, if you had a record, that was like really powerful. But the audio alone now isn't. I mean, people, sure, they listen to Spotify and whatever they do, and it's a big part of their lives, but particularly with children, they're looking for visual, you know, and I haven't responded quite the way I think your question was asking. So what I'd started doing was for families and kids in this pandemic, which is how it all, you know, started out that way. I started doing these morning visits with Red. They're these 4 to 8 minute morning video posts. And, you know, I do them the day before and, you know, or whatever. And they're on these different virtues. It's on, you know, how are we feeling today, you know? It's a really sweet thing. Now, so I'm doing that, and that's going along, and that's amazingly powerful for me to be able to just say a couple of words around the song, you know, and give context and create this thing of just trying to send a lot of love across to these children and to the parents. And then we have George Floyd's, you know, death, and then this whole opening of awareness to privilege, white privilege, and systemic embedded preferences, and, you know, and so then I found myself, my response was, it wasn't that I wrote a lot of songs about it. I have been writing a lot of songs as part of this morning visits thing, but I found myself creating context around them that was different, you know, in response to the situation and the opportunity. And yes, I do think it's a very rich time of possibility for us, particularly here in America, to really get down into the trenches and do the work. And it's exciting to watch that. And the Universal House of Justice, which is the elected institution that administers the affairs and guides the Baha'i community so beautifully, released an incredible letter about racism in America, and that it's going to be a bouncy road, but we are assured that America will deal with this issue eventually. Anyway, I'm sure you're aware of that letter, but just sharing it with the others. That's a letter that if you're interested in seeing that letter, put right on the text, and the folks running this will get that letter to you, because it's extraordinary. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Yeah.
Question from Yesenia. Do you read after your presentations based on the do you base it on the socioeconomic / cultural background of the children in the audience?
There are certain awarenesses, certain things go through my mind, but not very much. I'm singing to their hearts. The intent of most of my work is to touch hearts, so it's pretty consistent. And of course, if I go to a foreign country, like if I go to China, I've been to China a bunch of times, and of course they're learning English. I don't know Chinese. I've taken one of my songs and had it translated, and I sing that to them, but mostly I'm singing in English, so I have to be really careful not to use songs that have vocabulary that's really difficult. Stuff that for an American kid is, all right, so it's pushing their vocabulary a little bit, but not much, and they get it. For a Chinese kid learning English, so those kinds of things. But really, most of it's pretty consistent. Certain audiences need more interaction than others, although my kids' concerts are generally very interactive. Some are more, motor-oriented than others, but given a certain situation, they're all very open, and yeah.
Any other questions before we wrap up? Okay, well, I think we'll close off the questions there, but I just want to thank you so much again. I know everyone's saying that they're so glad they could attend this from all over the world. This was honestly amazing. And we really appreciate you giving your time and bringing up all these old memories for us. So that's great. We'll be sharing these videos afterwards. So also, if you'd like to be on the mailing list, I've put my email in the chat, and you can reach out to me and I'll send you the recording. So next week's speaker will be Tierney Sutton, and she's a 9-time Grammy nominee. She's received a Best Jazz Vocal Album Grammy nomination for every project she has released in the last 15 years. And her topic will be Facing and Fighting Racism with Spiritual Power. So really excited for that. And again, these all happen every Saturday at noon Eastern time. So please tell everyone, tell your friends. So now we'll be just closing with the closing prayer.
O my God, verily these servants are turning to thee, supplicating thy kingdom of mercy. Verily, they are attracted by thy holiness and set aglow with the fire of thy love, seeking confirmation from thy wondrous kingdom, and hoping for attainment in thy heavenly realm. Verily, they long for the descent of thy bestowal, desiring illumination from the sun of reality. O Lord, make them radiant lamps, merciful signs, fruitful trees, and shining stars. May they come forth in thy service and be connected with thee by the bonds and ties of thy love, longing for the lights of thy favor. O Lord, make them signs of guidance, standards of thine immortal kingdom, waves of the sea of thy mercy, mirrors of the light of thy majesty. Verily thou art the generous. Verily thou art the merciful. Verily thou art the precious, the beloved. Abdu'l-Baha.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care.